King. Don't blink, huh? That's for sure. Well, good morning, Unity on Cape Cod. How come y'all have no snow down here? I went by the golf course in Hyannis, and I saw cars in the parking lot. And I thought, are people golfing? And I thought, yeah, wait. And I looked, and the flags are up, and I said, oh, maybe I should move down here. Maybe I ought to give it a shot. What do you think? Yeah, I know. My sister who lives in Awesomeville, I call Osterville Awesomeville. She would love that, actually. So, happy Lent. Are we all preparing for the big day, Easter? You know, I was raised Catholic, and I don't know about you, but in Catholicism, Lent means, a time of giving up and fasting and eating fish on Fridays and all kinds of absolution and self-denial, anything that brings you pleasure. Pick something and give it up. And that's one way to do it. But in Unity, we stand for Lent, and we say Lent means let's erase negative thinking. If I push this button, oh, there you go. Let's erase negative thinking. Have you heard that before? Oh my goodness, I'm teaching you, and you're all Unitics. How many new Unitics are here that have never seen me before? Oh, okay, fair number. All right. So yeah, it means let's erase negative thinking. And I love the Pope. I think he's a fabulous man. And I saw this the other day, and I thought, wow, this is really cool. He gave a suggestion for what Lent means and what it could mean as far as fasting. And I just loved it. And I want to share this with you. Fasting from all of the emotional things, not necessarily, I've always thought, I always go into Lent saying, I'm not going to eat sugar. Yeah, that's so not right. I will stand before you and say, I'm a sugar addict. Jack and I were eating chocolate this morning before we came out here, and I brought it, so. So the first one is, let's fast from hurting words, and let's be more mindful and say kind words. Let's fast from sadness and let ourselves be filled with gratitude. I mean, how often can we just switch that and go from sadness and a negative thought? When we fill ourselves with gratitude, it just shifts so quickly. Let's fast from being angry and let ourselves be filled with patience. Let's fast from worrying. Worrying is very insulting to God. We come here on Sunday and we live our lives and we let ourselves worry about things that absolutely never happen. Most of the things we worry about really never come to fruition or manifest. Wouldn't you agree? So let's fast from worrying and put our trust and faith in God. Let's fast from complaining and contemplate just a more simple life. Let's fast from all the pressures of life and be more prayerful and give it over to God, Don't tell God about your prayers. Don't tell God about your problems. Tell your problems about God. Let's fast from being bitter and fill our hearts with joy. Fast from being selfish and learn to be compassionate toward one another. That was what the daily word was, right, Kendra? Let's fast from holding grudges and reconcile. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a few moments. And I love the last one. Let's fast from saying so many words. I'm Italian. I love to talk. I can talk a dog off a meat wagon, I'm telling you. But let's fast from using so many words and give ourselves more time to listen. So today's talk title is Upgrade Your Attitude so you don't live life in the past lane. Because like the song says, don't blink. Because it's like that, folks. I cannot believe I am 62 years old. I was with my family last night. We were talking about our ages, and one of my nephews said, yeah, I'll be 45 next month. He's my godson. I said, whoa, wait a minute. You were like just born. It just goes by like that. So don't live life in the past lane. Let's upgrade our attitude. And in order to do the things and fast from the suggestions that the Pope mentions here, excuse me, we have to upgrade our attitude. I've spoken here many times. I don't know, I've lost count. I've spoken at Unity churches and conferences and other spiritual centers and in front of lots of people all over the country. And one of the things I always talk about, and we can never talk about it enough, is about the 70,000 thoughts we have in our head every day. We're human beings. They just go, oh, there's another one. Okay, there's another one. There's another one. You've had thousands since you've been listening to me for 6 minutes. And for some reason, those thoughts err on the side of negativity, unless we begin to train what I call the ants, the automatic negative thoughts that steal our good. Those ants come marching in, and before you know it, we're down in the dumps, or we're in doom and gloom. And we have to allow ourselves to start thinking about what we think about. You've heard me say that before. Probably never thought about it. Think about what you think. When I had cancer, I had a lot of time to sit and think. I had stage 4 throat and neck cancer, which meant no eating, no speaking, no singing, hardly any talking. I had a feeding tube for 9 months. It took me 3+ years to learn how to eat again. I had a lot of time. And I really started to think about how all this works and all the emotion and what goes on in our minds and how we can start to pay attention to what we're paying attention to and how we have a choice. So what is an attitude? Well, attitude refers to what it says there, a set of emotions, beliefs, and behaviors toward a particular object, person, or event, or a thing. Attitudes are often the results of experience or our upbringing, and they can have a powerful influence over our behavior. Many of us have behavioral patterns that we live with today that were programmed. They were programmed in our brains at a very young age. And unless you do some deep work, they can stay with us. The information that's recorded in our brain could have been completely inaccurate. Our parental units, our teachers, our older siblings. I had 4 of them. I was the youngest of 5. I came between me and my next sister, there's 9 years, and my oldest sibling is 17 years, my senior. And through no fault of their own, I grew up in a very loving family, but and I'm sure you did as well. But there are a lot of people in our lives that programmed a lot of things into our brains and embedded behavior. I was blessed to have cancer. It was a blessing, although it was the most difficult thing I did. But, people ask me, after being told I had 3 months to live, they gave me 3 months. I had to move very quickly. They told me I'd probably be dead, but if I lived, I may never sing again. And the reason I wrote a book, it's called From Stage 4 to Center Stage, is 22 months after I was diagnosed, I sang the national anthem at a Red Sox game, before the Red Sox game, in front of 37,000 people. So don't believe things. You believe you're your own. I'm the boss of me. So here I stand almost 13 years later, and people ask me all the time, what did you do? How'd you do that? And I have the same answer. I didn't do anything. I undid a lot. I didn't do anything. I undid. I undid. And our job is to do the undoing, to peel away the layers, decipher our voice from the voices that have been embedded. And when we decipher our own voice, because our own voice, if we leave it to all the things that have been layered on and we don't peel away and we don't undo, is our own worst self-critic. I always say to people, if we talk to our friends the way we self-talk to ourselves, we wouldn't have many friends. And everybody laughs every time I say that. But it's funny, but it isn't. It's kind of a nervous. Yeah. So what we have to do is, I love this quote by Myrtle. Myrtle Fillmore is the co-founding mama. She's the Unity Mama. And this quote, I love it because it says, we are to cease worrying and being anxious and thinking and speaking of the past and of the apparent lack and idleness. We are to concentrate all, not some, not a little bit once in a while when we remember. We are to concentrate all our attention upon the truth of God and the truth of our own being, upon the very things we would see taking place in our lives. You see, we manifest. This is what we're going to talk a lot about. The sound of your dreams in the workshop this afternoon for those of you who are coming. We're going to get down to the vibrational level of choosing and seeing things and setting it straight, clearing, cleansing, balancing. So then when we go out there, we are that miracle magnet that we were born to be. We cannot do this so long as we have negative thoughts in our hearts. It's not possible. And then we walk around and we wonder why things aren't going the right way. Well, nothing happens out there. It's all in here. We fall into the pitfalls and the potholes of negativity. And only ourselves, we can change that thinking. So I want to ask you, what is your attitude today? What'd you come here with? What'd you bring with you? Are you worried about something? Are you bitter? Are you carrying any anger or jealousy? First toward yourself. Are you doing that self-talk? Did you wake up today saying, whoa, life is good, awesome, I'm amazing? You're looking in that mirror, kissing yourself like I taught you? Chapter 7 in my books, take a good look in the mirror. Go there, say, I love you. It's not easy, but it's worth it. So the attitude you came in today, just give it a little bit of, I love to do the meditation after a talk because I want to give you something, not to think about in meditation, but just to let kind of get into yourselves. Sometimes we carry around those anger thoughts and jealousy, sometimes even toward God. Oh, why'd you do this? What happened in Florida a couple of weeks ago? That's tough stuff. God hears our prayers. God loves us so much. He doesn't want to leave us in that place, but it's up to us. In those tough times, no matter what's happening, that's when we have to have the utmost faith. When I had to have, after all my treatment and everything, 6-7 months after, I had to have a radical neck dissection, a 4.5-hour operation to remove the entire left side of my neck. When you get close to me, you can actually see that it's not there. And I have a lot of side effects from all the treatment in that operation. And I didn't want to have it done. I was so, please God, I don't want to, I'll go through everything, but I don't want to do this. And one day I heard, fear will bow its head to faith as long as your faith is strong enough. And I've lived by that. Fear will bow its head to faith as long as your faith is strong enough. And as long as we upgrade our attitude all the time, all we have is each other. And don't blink. And oftentimes we take the way we treat ourselves, we treat others, and when we look at our attitude regarding other people, sometimes it's the people that are closest to us are the people we hold emotionally hostage. The people that we live with. The people that we're in touch with every day. Sometimes it's nicer to be more considerate to a stranger. You don't have all that stuff that you stick under the carpet and then it comes up and whacks you in the back of the head. Why do we do that? I don't know why we do that. But we do it until we make a decision not to do it. I think it's just because human beings are nuts. We're like cray-cray. We need to live in more, let the natural flow of things happen. You go into the forest, animals aren't going on their cell phone and calling everybody and going, oh, he did this and she did that and blah, 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 I'm having a hard day. It's like, well, first of all, they don't have cell phones. But they have some form of communication, but they just let things flow. And that's what I'm here to say. Just let it kind of go. Because one of the major lessons that I learned in having cancer and then just living my life, is we will not have each other forever. No. Mm-mm. Before you know it, it is gone. We will not have each other. Have you ever had anyone in your life die? Have you ever had anyone in your life die suddenly? And you never thought you would not ever see them again? Like you get a phone call and boom, they're gone. I'm still struggling and really struggling with one of my best friends of 40 plus years. Last year went kayaking, watching the sunrise, and he drowned. He'd been on a boat his whole entire life. Didn't make any sense, but he's just not here. So every day I am filled with the knowing. I never take for granted. In my family last night, when I hug them goodbye, I love you. I don't know what's going to happen to me or them. We just don't know. We pretend, I'm going to see you next week. We might not. I pray to God we do, and in God's good hands we will. But at the depths of my heart, I will not let anybody go from my life that I don't tell. I love you. You're important to me. We laugh. We have fun. That's what we're here to do. Every day in every way, that has to be our task, that we walk that talk every day. The person next to you that you take for granted, don't do it. The person who is sleeping next to you, hold them a little tighter. The person who is across from you at the dinner table, especially if a child, put the phone down. Put the phones down. I go out to dinner, I'm like, why are they texting each other? I think they are. Oh, you're going to have the chicken? No, I'm going to have swordfish. Hello, I'm right here. What's up with that? The people at work that you get, hey, how you doing? No, hey, how are you? Really mean it when you ask them. The person in the store, in line in front of you that's taking too long. Maybe it's an elderly person trying to get the change right to the penny. And you're getting aggravated, but they're doing that because they have to. Most of the time it's not their choice. They have to. So don't get aggravated. Turn and ask the guy next to you or the woman next to you, how you doing? You have no idea what they might say. Or the person who's driving down the street in front of you and they're going too slowly. Maybe they're elderly, maybe they're afraid, maybe they don't drive on the highway too much, but you're in a hurry and you're like, press the pedal on the right, the pedal. I'm in a hurry. Do you get I'm in a hurry? We have to who knows, but we have to upgrade our attitude every way in every situation, every day. We're unitics people. We get it. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. Most of the people out there think they're human beings having a spiritual experience. And for you new people, I'll say it again. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. We aren't what the Buddhists call the skin bag of stuff. So having a spiritual attitude means that we know we're connected to something larger than ourselves. It means that we practice kindness for its own sake. And we upgrade our attitude, and it means knowing every single person is an intricate part, like I said in the opening prayer. We're here to pour ourselves into each other and everybody out there. That's what makes peace on earth. My Pray Peace work. That's what it's all about, all the peace prayers from the different faiths with the music. Some of you probably listened to that. Many Unity churches use that DVD on World Prayer Day. That's what we're here to do. And we know that we're just a random speck of sentient being. We're like a speck. But our speck has to vibrate at a level that can make changes on the vibratory field for everybody. And it's our job to rewrite or write our own story and then let that story reflect a very pristine attitude. One as humanly possible that is of goodness all the time. So again, what attitude did you come in here with today? If it isn't an attitude that is for your highest and best, get the clicker, change the channel. If you don't like channel 5, you picked the clicker up, right? If you want something different, or your computer's sitting idle for too long, you refresh the screen. Refresh the screen. You know, in the workshop this afternoon, we're going to talk a lot about how we are mostly water and the effect of emotion has on water. Well, that's why I started to teach sound healing after I read Masaru Emoto's book, Hidden Messages in Water. We can change the channel. We can change the frequency. So we update our software. I love this quote by Groucho Marx. Each morning when I open my eyes, I say to myself, I, not events, have the power to make me happy or unhappy today. I can choose which it shall be. Yesterday is dead. Tomorrow hasn't arrived yet, and I have just one day today, and I am going to be happy in it. How cool is that? So as we prepare for Easter and to rise again and really let the Christ essence be reborn in us, I love these words from Philippians. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable. If there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. What you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, practice these things, and the God of peace will be with you. So let's go in peace and carry that peace out into the world, because, you know, more than ever, the world needs us to really upgrade that attitude and let the past live in the past. You know, when the past calls don't answer, it has nothing new to tell you. So we're going to go into meditation in a moment. I'm going to have a little drink of water, and let's get prepared for a time in the silence.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass. And visit us online at www.unityoncapecod.org.